This week's trial is pretty easy, but I still see a lot of people struggling with it. Starting in 12th place at the back of the grid, this will give you a good idea of the acceleration on my tunes. Cleanly passing the rest of my teammates. For the first corner, you want to brake a little bit, but not too much, and slide through that corner. My teammate here overcooking this corner, coming in too fast, or maybe they were just trying to get a show of skill in the trial. I really like this next corner. You want to feather the brake a little bit, not too hard. Position the car on the inside, turn left, hitting the checkpoint, and then go straight through the next couple of corners. Just smooth. Here you need to brake a little bit. This next corner is kind of special. The apex is not where you think it is. It's a little bit deeper, so you want to take it close to the inside. Otherwise, you're gonna go wide too early. Nice little jumping action there. Almost missing this checkpoint, but managed to take the lead here. Always gotta be careful. Don't take unnecessary risks. Up next is also another interesting corner. Ideally, you want to come in from the outside. If you go too wide, just make sure to hug the wall and avoid those posts. Ignore the braking line for these two corners. You can pretty much blast through on full throttle there. Make sure not to miss this next checkpoint. And for this hairpin, brake early and try to turn to the left as you do that. You may need to ease up on the braking a little bit in order to do that correctly. Coming up on the last corner, you can brake a little bit early, but you want to slide through next to the checkpoint and the final stretch to the finish line. It's a pretty simple track, but it can be a little bit tricky if you don't really understand some of the corners. So across the finish line, coming up on that first corner, here you want to brake hard and then just turn in, let the car slide. Hug the inside of this corner at full throttle and you'll be able to maintain traction. And it's pretty much the same thing on repeat after this point. A fairly uneventful race. Across the finish line, finished in first place. Lonely user just barely managing to avoid the DNF. The rest of the team doing exceptionally well. On to the second race. For this first section, you want to stay on the right side, irrespective of how the track moves. You want to try and stay on the right side as much as you can. Sonic wise, I think trying to block me, I'm not quite certain about that. And of course, another teammate showing us why we shouldn't drive into trees. When you come up to the first corner, better the brake and go all the way hard. Sonic wise, not quite managing to do that, dropping in the last place. After the corner, you wanna immediately move over to the right and take the shallower path across the water. Almost all water sections have these smaller paths that allow you to keep more speed. This is a fairly fast race, and since a lot of it is on the dirt, you can safely slide the car around. Hard braking for this corner, back onto the road, decent lead here. Another hard braking corner. I overcooked this one, but that's okay. Still in the lead. My teammates at the back of the pack, unable to keep up. For the upcoming corner, it is possible to slide the car around this whole section. I haven't quite managed to figure out how to do that, but I do know that you can do that, and it is the faster way to get through this whole corner. Last tricky bit of the track left. Just follow the driving line and look for those tiny sections of water to cross over. Final corner, hard braking. Slide the car around a little bit by opening up the throttle. And a final run to the finish line. Now, only one teammate left at this point, who unfortunately did quit in the next race, even though I was trying to get them the win. But that's okay. That's trials for you. Nice, clean, easy win. There's a certain kind of pleasure in having your team DNF on you. On to the last race. Now, the first section is possibly the hardest part of this race because you need to find an opening through AI as well as teammates. Brake hard on this first corner, but try to stay on the inside, so even if a teammate rams you, you do not go slamming into the wall and come to a complete stop. Slow second corner, then we are going to stay on the inside, hit the checkpoint. Went a little too wide here, but the idea is to feather the brake through that corner, stay on the right hand side here, going over the smaller part of the water section, passing the AI, being able to maintain a higher speed as we can see. My teammate helps me course correct here. Very nice of them to do that. And I'm gonna go for the lead here. The next couple of sections are mostly straight, with false corners thrown in, and they look like corners but they're not. You can pretty much drive straight through without braking. And at this point I completely forgot that cars come with brakes. One of the downsides of playing trials too much. But we have the lead, and since the last race is about winning, let's get to work. Going slow on every corner and blocking the AI as much as the AI actually puts up a pretty good fight here. It's almost like it's self aware, it knows what's happening, allowing teammates to pass me by, making sure to block the AI as much as I can, brake extra on all corners, and the AI again putting up a fight. So always hold the inside of a corner, brake as much as you can, and after the corner just go wide, block the AI. At this point I know my teammates are trying to get past. There goes Night Shadow missing the checkpoint completely. And there and Jewel Japan for some reason I don't even know what that was. How can you miss the checkpoint while being on the outside of the corner? Nice little ram by the air there. I swear they're evolving. Give an opening to teammates, let them pass, keep blocking the AI. Just same thing. Slow down as much as you possibly can on the corners. Pull the inside line, then go wide on the outside. I kinda really wanted to DNF for this race, but fortunately my teammates weren't exactly fast enough. So my final teammate in the back, trying to get the final teammate to catch up and pass us. Almost missed the checkpoint looking back here. Don't want to do that. Only look back on straights, never near corners. Yeah, it's still putting up a fight. It's desperate. It doesn't like what I'm doing. But unfortunately, it's still pretty dumb once you know how to deal with it. Night Shadow just desperately trying to get ahead. Trying to find an opening even though the whole track is open. And I let them pass. They're glad they're exceptionally good. And then I just keep slowing down the rest of the AI. So finally, one teammate manages to cross the finish line. I know I'm not gonna get that DNF unfortunately. But that's okay, maybe someday. Someday. Final stretch on the finish line. The entire team has won. This is how you win the final race. Finished 6th. Shameful. Just so shameful. Humiliating. The rest of the team has done exceptionally good this time. This was Spaghetti Django. If you find this useful, be sure to like, subscribe, and comment. See you next week.